Hey everybody, this is Beth Ritter-Guth and welcome to Cybercrime at DeSales University. So this is our first opportunity to talk about why we're here. So you're either taking this course because you're a criminal justice major, or you're taking this course as an elective and you're in some other major. But you probably were interested in, what is cybercrime? How do we define it? How do we catch the criminals? And what is this course all about? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the readings that you'll be doing for this week. So cybercrime, as you'll see, includes a lot of different facets. There are a lot of different parts to how cybercrime is committed. And there are a lot of different facets on how we catch cyber criminals. And there's a lot of information about the laws that govern how we treat cyber criminals and how we treat cybercrime, both here in the United States and then internationally. So one of the things that we're going to struggle with, and one of the things we're going to discuss, is what is the difference between freedom of speech and cybercrime? When do our freedoms end and the law begins? And so, what is actually a cybercrime? Is stalking online a cybercrime? Is bullying somebody on Facebook, is that a cybercrime? We know the big things, right? You steal somebody's credentials, you take their credit card information, you steal their identity. We know what is exactly a cybercrime, but some of the things that sort of hover on the edge, we don't necessarily know where the line is. But the good thing is that we do know where the line is. We do know where the law draws the line. So one basic tenet to just know is that anything that's illegal anywhere else is illegal online. So you sell drugs in person, illegal. You sell drugs online, illegal. Doesn't matter if you do it on the top web or the bottom web or the dark web. Illegal activity is illegal everywhere. So we have rules that govern how we behave. Here in the United States, we have you have rules that apply to how your employer allows you to use your computer at work. There are different rules for different situations, and so this course is about learning where the law sits and how we, as criminal justice professionals, how we catch, how we prosecute, what evidence we need to collect. So you're going to have a few readings that I just want to walk through. You're going to look at hacktivism, and that's maybe a new term for you, and that's using hacking to further some kind of agenda, right? You might have heard of the group Anonymous. We're going to be talking about Anonymous. You might now, with everything going on in the world with COVID and with our pulling out of troops in Afghanistan, you're going to hear about people who use the internet and use hacking as a way to further some kind of political agenda. And again, illegal activity is illegal everywhere. So that'll be an interesting read for you. You're going to be looking at information from the FBI and what they investigate, what they consider a cyber threat. And so it's important to know these things and to know what security measures the FBI is recommending, and understanding how online behavior follows you, right? Once you have a digital footprint, that footprint exists forever, whether you remove the content or not, right? So it's important to know, how the FBI looks at material and how they will find material, and we'll be talking about how that evidence is collected. You're going to be reading about how we deal with threats to our national security, right? So there are issues that deal with you as a personal individual. There are cyber attacks that happen on corporations, and of course there are attacks that happen on our national security. And so it's important to know what is the FBI, what is the NSA, what are these agencies doing to protect our security as a whole, right? And what part do you play as a person in the criminal justice field? We're going to talk about crime against children and how we catch online predators and how we ensure the safety of children and minors, and how stings are coordinated and operated. So we're going to be talking about very important topics that are also very sensitive, right? So there's no way to talk about cybercrime without actually talking about the crimes. And some of the crimes that we will talk about, especially when we talk about the dark web, they're brutal and they are not for the lighthearted. So, just be aware of that going into this course, that we're going to discuss things that are very difficult to talk about. It's impossible to fathom that people in this world do these kinds of crimes, but they exist. And our job on the side of good is to catch them and bring them to justice. So just be aware that we'll be talking about sensitive issues. We'll be talking about the United Nations. What's going on in the world? How is the world responding to things, especially things about child pornography and the selling of children internationally? How is the international community working together? And what are the risks and what are the impediments to that process? Because we have our rules here, but another country might have different rules, and how do we reconcile those rules when it involves children and innocent victims? So we'll be looking at that kind of information. You'll be looking at research that's being done in cybersecurity. So in addition to all the, armchair pundits that are online, there's actually research, scholarly research being done about cybersecurity. And, one of the topics that's hot right now is looking at how people have been scammed out of their COVID money that was dispersed from the federal government. And, just talking about how it became a hotbed instantaneously, and, hackers from all over the world were able to jump in and take money from unsuspecting victims. So we'll be talking about, not just, our thoughts, but also like research that's been vetted.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year.
Another thing that we're going to talk about is how cybersecurity and cybercrime is portrayed in popular media. So here we have an episode from The Office. I hope we have some Office fans in the class. But we're going to be talking about how myths get perpetuated through social media and movies and TV shows and things like that, and sort of dispel the myths, but also talk about how those vehicles can also benefit and help us to spread the message for people to be safe and secure. All right, so that was our syllabus. So this very first week, we're going to be talking about the basis of why do we care so much about cybercrime, and why do we care so much about preparing you for the future of your work. This work changes every single day. And as you know from my background, I actually have a background in literature, and I used video games, and I came to programming that way, and I came to ethical hacking that way. So one thing that I will say right from the beginning is that we have to decide today to be on the side of good. You can never hack something without somebody's written permission, ever, for any reason. You just cannot go on that side. So, I have my phone, and I can spoof your phone and make your phone look like my phone, and I can hack your messages, and I can see who you've been writing to, and see what you've been saying. But you have to decide today to never do that. You have to always be on the side of good, and never, even as a joke, or even as it's just my brother, it doesn't matter. Every single person, in our country has rights to their privacy. And so without a contract, without a written agreement saying, here's what I'm going to do, here's what I'm looking at, here's what I'm going to provide to you when I'm done, you can't just hack people, all willy-nilly. Now we're going to have opportunities to practice ethical hacking. You'll be hacking me and accounts that I've made. You'll never be asked to hack somebody else. You'll never be asked to do anything illegal. And I will say that in every single video. At no time should you break the law to do anything, because that will jeopardize your career and your future in the industry that you want to work in, right? So we always have to, I always say that I'm a Batman of good, right? So I work on the side of Batman, and I'm always making ethical decisions, and that's a choice that you make today. So Don't ever do anything that you shouldn't do. Don't ever do anything illegal. I will not ask you to, and you should not do it, and you need to make that commitment today. If I see during the class that you have kind of crossed a line, we will definitely have a discussion, and we will definitely have a discussion with the department chair, because the purpose of this course is to introduce you to the technology that's involved in catching cyber criminals, but we don't want to create cyber criminals in that process, right? So welcome to class. I'm excited to talk cybercrime with you. You know, it's a fascinating field. It changes every minute, and there's lots to learn. And as soon as this class is over, there'll be lots more to learn. So it's something that you can get into for the rest of your life if you're interested. All right, be well. Take care.